Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mr. Pickles. Thank you for joining me today. In today's episode, we are playing more of the what are we playing? Theme Park Tycoon. Yeah, that game. As you can see, we're getting started off. We're doing some underground, some tunnel work, as you can see. And this is, so big reveal, the project that we're going to have underground is going to be, I heard about Disney, they have these giant underground tunnels for their cast members. And I thought, how cool would that be to have a theme park that is so big that it needs underground staff transportation. And I also had a great idea. I think we might be adding a monorail down here for fast transportation, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I also add some, there's usually pipes down here for trash, water, all that stuff to get them out of the park. So I thought it might be cool to add some pipes. I think I might add them a little bit closer to the floor. I'm going to end up putting them rather high up. This is temporary. The main part was I just wanted to get this done, so that way we could get started. The project, see, I won't be doing a lot with this because it really requires after, the park has to be finished for me to put these. So, and there's not really much of the theme park yet. I just finished recording episode 4. So at the time I'm doing the audio for this. So as of right now, it looks really good. But we're going to get started. So this section is going to be Tomorrowland. Usually when you come in and go to the right of a Disney park, they always have the futuristic section. As you can see, I just outlined it. I'm going to take 1/4 of the park in the bottom corner, and we're going to make it specifically for futuristic stuff. Now, I want to have one roller coaster. I start by trying to pick out the paths that we want. I like the look of concrete, but I also just want it to be a different color than the rest of the path. This is what we end up with, that path right there. My main plans for this land are 2 rides and a roller coaster for the time being. The roller coaster is going to go right where that stone block is, that random stone block that you can see. I saw a really weird theme park over there, and I got very interested in it. So if you ever see me pause, that is just me looking on my phone. I'm trying to figure out paint colors and images of futuristic thingamabobs. Next we're going to get working on the train. So we installed the train tracks, and for some reason I put the train tracks a little bit too far in the middle, and then I realized that I'm not even close. So I delete everything. We go all the way back, and then we go one block further. I have to remove this stone piece so I could get the train tracks in. Now, in a train in futuristic time is not that great of something that you want. Like, you don't want a locomotive just going through a futuristic section, because that's not very futuristic. So I'm going to completely enclose the train. We get started on this roller coaster. I didn't want it to be too high, because the bigger it is, the bigger the indoor building would have to be. I want it completely dark, so that means it's going to be a very big building to do this. I get started with the advanced editor. We just slow turns. I mean, I want to test it. We start with the building height. How high do we need the blocks? Get an idea of how big this building is going to be. We test the coaster, make sure it goes good. I love the idea of two-person carriages going at a time. I thought that would look really cool, just like one car with two people, like Space Mountain, because it's usually a low capacity, but it's a quick ride. So I thought that would be really cool. We get a nice little loop. And after this loop, I try and make the roller coaster go up and over the rest of the track. And this leads to one of the biggest downfalls of this coaster is this slow section up top. And you see I'll test it, and the coaster easily makes it over. But it comes really slow. And that is not really what I wanted. I wanted it to be a little bit quicker. But it is what it is. We later end up changing the station to be longer. And we decide that we're going to go with a little bit bigger trains. Now we're just going to do a helix, which is pretty much, I believe, just a circle. Just a circle, a banked circle down. After the circle, we go to a straightaway. I remember, hey, I really got to put some walls here. I got to put walls. And you're like, why are you putting full terrain blocks? Because full terrain blocks block out light. So if I put full terrain blocks, it actually makes no light. I turn this turn as a little bit tighter. That way so we can actually put these walls in. And then I put in quite a few walls. But then I go for a little bump, a little up-down section. Little too high at first, but then we go to a lower section. And then we try to figure out, how am I going to get this back to the station? And I couldn't go over the railroad tracks. So I just decided to go under the railroad tracks. I know, genius idea. Who would have thought? I decided to go under the railroad tracks. And in the end, it actually came out pretty cool. Right now, it looks like a mess. It looks like just a weird roller coaster. I'm trying to figure out how I could get these pieces in. And then I decide, I'll just dig down a little. That'll make it much easier. And that's what we do. I feel like other roller coasters are going to be much easier in this park, just because we'll have theming and they'll be outside across like a themed area. But for this one, it's got to be completely dark. You can't see it in the video, but at the top of that hill, it comes to a very slow. It's very slow to get over it. So I test maybe 2-person trains, 3-person trains, 4-person trains, just to see, or like 3 cars, 4 cars, like that kind of stuff. And we end up going with the three long cars. In the end, that's what we end up picking. So now we're just trying to figure out how we can dig under and then turn the track so we can actually get back up to the station. As you can see at this time, the station is actually pretty small. So I extend it. I've found this issue when you add another station, or you start a new roller coaster, instead of it merging, it malfunctions, and it doesn't allow you. It instantly crashes whenever something happens. I wanted the trains to be 3 long, but I wanted to have 2 of them. And this end section was really weird. So I was like, how can I? So let's back this up a bit. And let's add some station pieces. So I keep adding station pieces one by one. And then checking the train station to see if it's possible for it to be compatible. So I just keep adding pieces to the station until I can get 3 long trains or 2 trains that are 3 cars long. That was my goal. I just wanted 2 of the trains. So as one train is going across the track, actually doing the course, there's another train that's getting full of people at the same time. Now, so at this point, we have it. Everything is complete. And now all we have to do is enclose it. And we have to get started on the interior. I found the... Ooh, I forgot about the brakes. I found that the roller coaster was way too fast at the end and unsafe speeds. So I use these advanced pieces and I add brakes. They were difficult to add brakes to, but I nevertheless added brakes to them. And now it slows the coaster down to a nice stop at the end. A fun guest is visiting our park, stopping by. Always fun to see some new faces. Everything else is pretty much good. I have to remove a slight section of the track just to reconnect it. That once it's reconnected, it's a lot smoother. I added some chain lift. Just in case it gets stuck, we can bring the train up. Okay, so now we go back to wall building. We are turning the wall into concrete. And then when we're done with that, I believe it's time to raise the roof. And no, we're not celebrating. Get it? Get it? It's a pun. Yeah, it's a pun. We go to the top height of how tall this building needs to be. Start adding a bit of a roof. This roof will have lots of fun construction changes throughout the building process. Hey, I've seen the finished product and it turns out great. It looks really good. We get a little zoom out just to see how everything's looking. We got this giant building. You're probably like, well, that's really ugly. And it is. But we will use certain tricks and tools to make the building less noticeable. It won't be as ugly as it is right now. We add a bit of a lip with some walls. Now we're just kind of working on the fancy word, the facade, which is just a fancy way of saying the part that the people in the park see. So we want it to look very nice from the people who are in the park looking at the building. They should not even be able to tell that this giant building is behind them. It should all be covered up by cool futuristic walls and that stuff. We don't paint the path yet. I don't know if we forgot. We'll probably do that later. We start working. I come to the conclusion, I think metal is the nicest wall piece for like a futuristic section. I slide the metal out just a bit. I'm going to slide the metal out just because I want it to look a tad bit nicer. I also wanted a water feature. It cannot be very deep, the water, but I can have a nice shallow water, almost like a river, kind of separating the futuristic section from just the regular old building section. I think it looks good. We continue adding the walls. These pretty much stay the same, these walls for the whole building process. We add some walls underneath just to make it seem more sturdy and like it's meant to be there. Like, because in a normal building there would be foundations, so in the water there would still be walls. I add this little ledge that hangs over. I have very big plans for that ledge. I want a people mover style attraction that is up there. So that I'm really excited about that attraction because I think it would be really cool to have like a people mover inside the futuristic area, because that's honestly one of my favorite rides at the Magic Kingdom at Disney World is the people mover, just because it's so much fun. And I intend to use the monorail as the people mover. Now the only problem is that the monorail moves quick. It moves very fast. But I think that's going to be okay. I think it'll be decent enough. I also tested the dark ride. Dark ride is a little too slow. Monorail is a little too fast. So I think what I'm going to do is eventually buy the DLC that allows ride operations, and I'm just going to slow down the monorail. I think that would honestly be the best. We paint the path. We also think about what if possibly we have a trash can. What would that look like? We'll get to that in a minute. We also try to find a railing for this section, which is not finished. I have a feeling that the railing that we pick will probably not be here for very long. We get some path lights, and what I find is these iconic Disney Tomorrowland trash cans are actually in the game, and they look really similar. These trash cans. They look really good at Disney, and so we'll have them in our park too. We also experiment with some of the lights because it's pretty dark at night. We also get the wall put in place. We see where we want the wall. We add the entrance to our park, and we delete the building section for why is talking so hard? For the show building. I think that's the fancy word, the show building. We got the exit planned out. Both of these, and you could see I put a big section. I'm planning on putting a store inside like a gift shop, and then just some restrooms over there. Nothing too fancy. I tried to look for clothing racks, couldn't find any. Couldn't even find anything close. Nothing that even resembled like clothes on like in a store that you could buy, or like merchandise. We get the beginning foundations in for this coaster unloading section. I tried to figure out a path for the water. I thought maybe like a glass would be kind of cool, like a futuristic glass. Honestly, now looking at it, it actually doesn't look that bad. Maybe I will go back to the glass. I end up settling on the beginner. The jail cells are terrible. They do not look good at all. I end up going with the metal fence. The metal fence that I have right now. I delete everything else and just put in the metal fences. This will not be staying. Down the road, it definitely, probably around episode 5 or so, I'm going to delete that because I don't like the way that looked. That will be gone. Yeah, that's not staying. We just go with some metal walls instead. And then we put a little, we're going to add a little raised section out of wood on the, or not brick. I think we may use metal. I'm not sure. We could use metal. I think it's wood. Yeah, a nice little wood railing to kind of keep everything. I was gonna put some ride operations like a button panel or something, but it wouldn't let me. No buttons or anything. So I'll just leave this area empty. I imagine that's where the staff members are going to stand. They would just stand over there. We're adding the ride entrance. It's a nice section. I spend tons of time trying to figure out how to delete the fences on the path. That will be a considerable amount of time in this episode. I don't know if it's in this episode. Yeah, it is. I try to get the queue path, but I want no railings. I don't realize that you can click on the path themselves. So I tried the legacy paths, and then I just put back normal paths. I tried deleting the fences. That, of course, doesn't work because you can't do that. I add these metal crates. If you've ever been to some of the Disney rides, they actually remove the fences and let giant objects kind of be the fence for itself. So that is what we're doing here. And after that, that's where we end the episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, if you could drop a like, that helps a lot, lets more people see it. And if you want to see similar building game content, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have an awesome day.